What's up, and welcome back to Opposites Attract Podcast. This is Sonja Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How is your day?
How was your week?
How is your life?
Going.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. Before we get started, make sure you guys go to oppositesattractpodcast.com. Share it with the people that you know. You guys can see how you can follow our social media. You can follow us at Opposite Pod on all the different social medias. You can just search Opposites Attract Podcast on Google and just about everything pops up, or whatever social media on YouTube, TikTok, whatever. If you search Opposites Attract Podcast, you'll find us. Follow us, like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, do all that stuff.
Share. Yes,
right?
yes.
It helps us out.
Yes, it does. Thank you all. So I wanted to share with all of our listeners that we found our kitty cat.
Yeah.
That our kitty cat came home.
Yeah, we were talking about that a few episodes ago. And we we have so much to talk about all the time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
we forgot to mention that she had came back.
Yes.
But I was pretty sad.
Yeah,
that
I
she
want
had
to
left.
talk about, I know that a few of you, or a lot of you, love your fur babies.
Yeah, you got one on your lap.
Yes. Doesn't
guys
she look like me? We got the same color hair.
Yeah.
And
You guys match.
they're part of the family.
You guys got to watch on YouTube.
They're a very
or
important part of the family.
Yeah.
And Niecy, we had Niecy before we even had our kids. So
Yeah.
Niecy's 15 years old. She was our first
Yeah.
baby,
Yep.
right? And we want to talk about the challenges that we go through as parents of fur babies and having children that, they all grew up.
Baby, yeah.
They've all grown up.
When you lose a baby, when you lose a pet.
But they are our babies. But there's, things that you go through. And just like Luna, our cat, Joey's was very close. We were all pretty close, but you and Joey had this special relationship with her.
Yeah.
And when she didn't come home that night.
It wasn't that night. She was gone for a couple days.
Right. But the first night,
Yeah.
when we noticed she hadn't came home, what were your thoughts? What were you going through? Because you were very close to her. I mean, you actually.
Yeah, I would go to the back and I would call for her and everything. I mean, but you know me, like I'm very realistic about everything in life.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that if they go out the back, like she's not a cat that stays in the house.
I understand.
I was sad. I was sad when she wasn't coming back. And I thought, yeah, maybe something happened to her. And just for me, I mean, I know no matter how I feel or how I think, like hopefully somebody caught her and kept her instead of her got ate by a freaking coyote or something.
Right.
But yeah, I know that things can happen if she gets out.
Yes. And with Joey was really sad. Like he was really sad. And I mean, the entire family was sad, but I believe you and him just had that special bond. And so, we've lost a pet in the past, and it was very hard on the family. Our first pet, Frazier, we had him for 11 years. The kids Joey was a newborn.
Yeah.
When we had, so was,
we had them before. We had Frazier, I think, was full grown when the kids were babies.
That's right. Yes. Because I remember Frazier laying his big head on Joey when Joey was a newborn.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite pictures of Joey and Frazier. He's like a couple weeks old, maybe.
Yeah, he was. Yep.
And it's
infant,
like you could
newborn.
see like he did when Joey was
He was
first
a big
born.
dog. He was half pit and half boxer.
Yeah. And when Joey was first born, we would have him up on the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And Frazier would get up on the bed and lay with Joey.
Yes.
When he was a little baby. And we have a picture of him just resting his head on like Joey's stomach. But it's like he's not resting his full weight on him because he kind of knows that he's little or something. I don't know.
Yeah. It seemed like
cute.
he was very aware of Joey being a newborn and him being big. But, it was a challenging time for the family when we lost Frazier.
Yeah.
And we shared that moment together. We've all cried for him.
Yeah.
The kids witnessed us crying for him.
Yeah.
we, witnessed the kids crying for him. And there were times where we were just huddled up and hugging each other, helping each other grieve through the process. And I think it's so healthy that we're able to teach our kids the correct process of grieving.
Yeah. And a pet is probably, for kids especially, the best way for them to learn about that, because they're going to go through it in life. We're all going to go through it in life. And losing a pet is, even though it sucks, it's easier than losing a friend or losing a family member, a grandparent or parents or whatever,
It's up there though.
It is. It is.
It's up there.
Yeah. And I think one thing that also helped is, it's the same thing that we do with when you lose anybody else, is we talk to the kids about remembering the fun times that we had, all the good times that we had, the times that he made us laugh, the times that maybe he drove us nuts, like when Fraser ate all my pork chops for lunch, right?
And he ate my coffee table.
He ate your coffee and busted through the door in Joey's room.
Right, in Joey's room. And there Joey was at like 2 years old over here with a hammer trying to fix the hole that Fraser caused.
Dude, that night that he busted through the door, I built him a doghouse for outside.
Right.
But
with a heater.
With a heater. Because it was wintertime.
With the heater. That's so cute.
We're animal people, and we couldn't leave them out there.
I think that it's so important for kids to grow up with animals. It teaches them unconditional love. Dogs teach us so many lessons.
Yeah.
Of unconditional love and forgiveness. Responsibility. Forgiveness, because even the dog, when the dogs do something wrong, they know that they do something wrong, right? And then we go and put them outside or do whatever we do, spray them with a spray bottle, and immediately after a second or two, they're back to loving us.
I was just watching a video from your guy when I was setting up the podcast.
Which
from
guy,
Steve Hardison.
Oh, okay.
And he was talking about this experience that he had waiting for a tow truck driver. Have you seen that one?
No.
And it was it's a 10-minute clip on his channel. And he's the author of the book Ultimate Coach that we've been talking about. Or not the author, but the book is about him.
Yes.
And he was talking about how I think he had gotten a flat tire or something happened, and he was waiting for a tow truck to come. And there was somebody that he was talking to that was like, I want you to tell me like when you're going to do one of these miracles that keep happening or whatever. And he's like, they happen all the time, but this with this situation, he was like, he's like, I'm going to show you something. He's like, before the tow truck driver even gets here, something's going to happen today. And he said that the reason that he can do these things is because in his head, he decides beforehand who he's going to be when the tow truck driver shows up. Mm-hmm. Because you could, a lot of times, like sometimes people piss us off or something's happening that's going to piss us off, and we automatically determine that we're going to be pissed. And when you determine that you're going to be pissed, you're going to be pissed.
Right.
But if you decide that I'm going to be happy, then you're going to find ways to be happy.
Right.
And when you have animals, you can see that like when they eat a coffee table or they bust through the door or whatever, right? It pisses you off, but you can see that they're innocent. Like they didn't mean to freaking eat the coffee table. They didn't mean to destroy the house.
Exactly.
And you can just like sometimes
see the innocence in
right.
it.
And then it's like, yeah, I'm going to build you the doghouse because I'm pissed off, but I'm going to let you back in the house,
Right. See, and you know what you just described?
What's that?
Forgiveness.
Yeah.
Like to its core is forgiveness. And it's so, I don't want to get off topic with the pets, but that's what we talked about today with my coaching, is forgiveness, seeing the innocence behind the act. Like,
and it's like, what was the intent? Did they mean to piss you off? Like, he's a dog. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Right.
He was you know what he was probably thinking as a dog, dog thoughts, but they like, where'd you go? Where'd you go? Like, I'm freaking out. Yes. He busted through the door because he got closed inside the room.
Right.
He ate the coffee table because he left and probably thought we were never coming back.
He's like,
and
all
he was
right,
freaking
I'm gonna
out.
show you. No.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. And then, So we had that scare with Luna. And then just a few days ago, we have a pit bull by the name of Jane. Super sweet.
Yeah.
Super sweet. Such a loving, beautiful, fun dog.
Yeah.
Right? Very fun. Different personality. As you can see, this one that I have.
She's very chill. She's always been this way. She's been old
perfect.
since he was a puppy.
She's been a perfect dog. Like, this is the type of dog that, I mean, we can get into Niecy after Jane, but yeah, she's perfect dog. Jane, she challenges us.
Yeah. Well, you guys know, like the bully dogs, they
Yes.
have more energy. They like getting into stuff.
Yes. So Jane, all of a sudden, we saw her limping, and then she
wasn't eating much.
Then she wasn't walking. And I'm like, what is going on? And we knew those dogs are known for having hip dysplasia, so the kids are witnessing this. We're seeing this. And, I make the decision. It's time to call a vet and get her in to go get her seen. And so, Audrey went with me. Audrey was there to see and witness, it's just the entire process. Them, having to do the blood work and the x-rays and all that other stuff. And I showed her the bill from the vet.
Because it wasn't free.
No, I showed her the bill from the vet, because as for baby parents, our job is also to be responsible for them. Yeah. Right. And sometimes you have these emergencies and you have to have the funds to be able to take them in.
Yeah.
So I was able to teach her that lesson as well. It's not just about getting a pet.
Right.
They have to get shots. They have to get fixed. They have to get right.
Yeah.
So, having that discussion with her, but also seeing, that the kids were worried. I mean, we were all worried again.
Yeah.
About her.
Yeah.
And I'm preparing for Niecy, because Niecy is 15 years old and she has no teeth.
Yeah.
She looks like a young puppy. I get that all the time. But she doesn't, you can tell by the way she acts sometimes, because sometimes she's all jumping like a little kangaroo everywhere and very excited. And she is she's our dog, but she's my dog. Like she follows me everywhere. She cries
when she's not near you.
Right. She's just,
I'll be working and you'll leave and she'll go like to the garage door and she's just like, and starts crying. Yeah.
Yes. And so we know that, it's getting close for her. And so it's talking to the kids and letting them know it's just the cycle of life, right? Yeah. We live and we die. I mean, nobody gets away with it, right? So just, preparing them and also preparing myself as well.
Yeah.
And it is, when you have your fur babies, it is a very hard, it's hard. But allowing yourself to go through the grieving process, and allowing the kids to help, have a healthy way of going through it will teach them, like you said, for the future when other things happen.
Right.
And most people, when they come around situations that are very hard to swallow, they tend to put a wall up so that they don't have to feel the pain of the loss.
Yeah.
And shove it down only for it to continue to
fester
and show up in other ways in their life.
Yeah. That's true.
Yes, yes.
They teach us a lot of lessons.
They do. They're absolutely amazing. And if you guys have a fur baby, go to our Facebook group page, and post a picture on our Facebook page of your fur babies. We would love to see your guys' fur babies.
Yeah, we love animals.
Yeah, and people love to take pictures with their dogs.
Yeah.
And they say that the longer the dog is with you, the more
you guys look alike.
Right. We got told that today.
Yeah.
That we look like we would be, like a family. Remember?
Like brother and sister or cousins or something.
Like we're starting to look alike. That's hilarious.
But I guess.
Yes.
So speaking of animals, the other day I was going to pick up some food at Costco, and I was with Joey, and I don't know how we got into this conversation, but we got into the conversation of eating animals. Like he,
hold up, babe. We're talking about our fur babies, and now you're gonna be like,
we're done.
Let's talk about.
Well, I mean, we're
animals.
still talking about animals.
Oh my goodness!
Now we're just gonna talk about eating them.
Oh my gosh!
But he was like, because you know Joey, and those of you that know Joey, our son, he's a super sweet kid. He's very thoughtful. He has a great
heart. Yes.
And he was like, Dad, he's like, why do we have to eat animals? You know, because he doesn't like the thought of having to kill an animal so that he can eat it.
Right.
And, you know, we just kind of got into a conversation about, you know, like, well, there are certain nutrients and things that you need that only come from animals. Like, you're not going to get it from plants. You're not going to get it from tofu. You're not going to get it. Like, there's certain things that only come from chicken, from beef, from pork, from certain things, right?
Yeah.
And
there are some people that are vegans, though they do well.
Okay. So... Look.
Speaking of from my vegan friends that I know are watching this, be like, okay. Dude, educate yourself. No.
Yeah, I have.
There's supplements and stuff that you can take.
You can, but it's not easy. Anyway. But so we started getting into that. And then you know, we kind of get into like little rabbit holes and talking about stuff, and then somehow we got into that video that I had showed you about that mountain lion.
Oh.
And we were talking about, like, if an animal, he was talking about like a tiger or like a mountain lion, like if it was cute or whatever. And I was like, look, if I run into a mountain lion, most likely I'm going to shoot it because I'm not messing around.
It's going to eat me. If I don't shoot it, it's
and I'm like, cute or no cute. I was like, I love animals too. I was like, but if it's between me and the animal's got to go. You know, I'm not going to look for animals to try to, you know, kill them or anything, but if it's between me and them, that's it. But then we started getting into the conversation of, he was like, would you shoot like a warning shot? And then we started talking about adrenaline and how so many people think that, I mean, people are delusional about stuff. Like, you buy a gun and you put it in your sock drawer or whatever you have it, and you never shoot with it, you never practice, and in your mind you think that you're going to be John Wick when somebody breaks into your house. You're going to be doing shoulder rolls and pop, two in the chest, one in the head. You're not a Navy SEAL. It's not going to happen. And the only way that it could happen that way is if you actually train and practice all the time. You know, and I was kind of telling him that, well, with I showed him the video of the mountain lion. If you guys haven't seen it, look it up on YouTube. Just type in mountain lion stalking man or something. And it's like in Colorado or something. This guy's out for a run on a trail. It's like super beautiful. The leaves are changing colors. And down at the end of the trail, you see like a little cub. And he sees the cub. And I think he knows like that if there's a cub, there might be a mom around.
Yep.
But at that point, I think it was already too late, because closer to him, like in between him and the cub, out of the bushes or whatever on the left, a mountain lion came out. And then he starts backing up and he's like, oh crap. And I was just telling Joey, like, in that moment, your adrenaline is going to be flying so high that you can't like think about, I'm going to shoot a warning shot, or it's like you have to try to hit the biggest part, because you're probably going to still miss because you're so freaking freaked out. Your heart is racing.
Yes.
And we started talking about police officers and all that kind of stuff, and just like what adrenaline does to you.
Yes.
And how police officers, like, they train. And when they get into a gunfight, they miss a lot because of it. You know, and I explained to him about jiu-jitsu and about fighting.
How did you explain to him adrenaline, though? The feeling, the heartbeat. Did you get him to connect to what, like the feeling that you would get? Well,
this is what I explained to him. I told him, I was like, do you remember how you felt when you did your jiu-jitsu tournament?
Oh,
I was like, when you were stepping out onto the mat to go fight, how did you feel? Like,
that's good.
Were you nervous? Was your heart racing? And he was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, your heart was racing. You were nervous and you trained jiu-jitsu. Imagine if you're getting into a fight and you don't train jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean?
Right.
Your adrenaline is going to be even higher. So the only way to be able to handle situations like that is to practice and put yourself in situations like that, to be able to handle stressful situations. And jiu-jitsu is a great way to be able to do that.
Right.
But
that's a great conversation. It brings a lot of awareness.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of times, like same thing goes with fights, like gun fights and regular fights. People are like, oh, I'm going to freaking chop him in the throat. I'm going to do this and do that. Sure, you're not doing none of that shit. Yeah. Unless you've practiced, you're not doing none of it.
Yes.
So, but yeah, it was a cool conversation. And then later on that night, he actually he was able to experience real adrenaline for himself.
Yes.
Because
that was so odd. That was just so crazy. That night. Because you were telling me after that experience that you were just talking to him about that adrenaline. And I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I went to go sit next to him and I told him, I said, pay attention. I'm like, how is your heart beating right now?
Yeah.
How is your body feeling? Are you feeling hot? Are you feeling cold? I'm like, you're flush. I'm like, you're red right now.
So what happened was he was going to throw out the trash, and outside it was getting later.
I don't know if he wanted us to share this stuff.
Yeah. And he heard
a very loud noise, and
it really freaked
him
out.
out.
It was scary. Like I've heard it before
Yes.
too out there, and being 10, 11, that'll freak you out.
Right. So, but that was good. That was good for you to, talk to him about it. And then Audrey was there as well. So everybody got the lesson.
Right.
Everybody got the lesson. Speaking of Adriana, I'm so proud of her. They had their first softball game.
Yeah, and they kicked butt.
She and they had her on first base.
She kicked butt.
Yes, they had her on first base. She got 4 outs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
She was
did awesome.
Yes.
She got the game winning, like the 3 outs to end the inning and win the game.
Yes. We got to share this with Joe.
Yeah, that was
cousin.
awesome. Yeah.
But it's so great because previously, most of their games, they're a new team. So they were struggling, and they needed this win, right? They needed this win. And I think that that's important too, to know how it feels to lose, because then you'll appreciate the win.
You know what that reminds me of? There's been because I watch football, there's times when there's like an NFL team that's like 0-13, 0-14, and then they finally win a game and it's like they won the Super Bowl. But they've been out of the playoffs.
Yes.
But they clear the bench, everybody's freaking, we did it.
Yes.
It's like, chill out. You guys are going back home.
But that's
that feeling.
It's
I've been on teams like that too.
It's good. That's another good lesson to teach your kids, right? With Joey, the things that he struggles with, and really getting him to see the wins in his life, the things that he's done well, the things that he's been able to overcome. I remember, so Joey is really interested in Transformers. Like this kid, very much so, is all about Transformers and Legos. Do you remember the first time he tried to put a Lego set together by himself?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. He used to drive us bananas because he's so impatient with himself. And then he just kept trying. It's because he enjoyed doing it. Therefore, he didn't give up. The same thing with the Transformers.
Yep.
Same thing. The Rubik's Cube, the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's just, and what I've noticed is a lot of things, like for instance, he's challenging, or he has challenges with math. He's doing very well now because we got him a tutor. So he's doing well and he's feeling more confident, and he's being challenged because he's learning algebra. So he's already learning high school math. And so he's being challenged again. But it's getting your kids to recognize when they're going through challenges, recognizing the obstacles and the challenges that they've been able to overcome.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, it can take away from their self-confidence.
Yeah, you have to keep reminding them. And this is something that we've talked about for us.
Yes.
Like for adults.
Yes.
When you feel like you can't do something, or something's going to be too hard or whatever, it's like leaning on the cookie jar that you got.
Yes.
You got that cookie jar of all these accomplishments that you've had. That's what David Goggins calls it.
Yes.
You open up that cookie jar and it's like, you know what? I've done this before. I've done this before. I've done this before. I can do this too.
Right. Yes. Anything else you want to share on that?
No, you got something?
I want to share the post that I put up today just a little moment ago.
Is it about India?
Yes.
So here in the last week, there's been a couple things that last week we talked about that I don't know if we were thinking about doing the India thing yet last week on the last podcast, but at this point it's happening. You're going to India.
I am so excited. I don't even know. I think I did get into some detail about it, how it all came about, right? Because you were talking to me about yes. So now it's all coming together.
Yep.
I mean, all of it. And it's been such a blessing because I can see, well, I'm going to read my post because this pretty much sums up like what's been happening and what's going on. But this is exactly how I feel. These are the things that I feel led up to me going to India. So I put, God has been preparing me for this very moment. I know without a doubt that I am here to serve those that are called to me as a wife, mother, daughter, and a friend to help my fellow sisters to step into their power of being. God has been my sculptor and has shredded every part of me that was not for me. God has also showed me that I am the creator of my life and he is my mentor/guide. I am ready to step into my God-given purpose and it feels so beautiful. This month I was called to go to India and I will be exploring and connecting to the people, the culture of India in February, where I'll be surrounded by teachers that God has placed into my life to show me the way. So I'm just sharing like my visa's approved, the event ticket is purchased. Yeah. You know, I went today and I had a doctor's appointment. I got all the
shots for all the stuff.
Shots, yeah, for all preventative measures and all that good stuff. But what's so exciting is that I'm traveling with my new best friend, Sholay.
You got a lot of new friends.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to talk about that. Payment, who has been traveling as a little girl. Like that was her education, nice. Right? Like she said, my mom and dad, we traveled the world and that was my education.
That's awesome.
So she's very familiar with, you know, just traveling. So I feel safe and confident. And she has an itinerary for us. And we are first starting, we're going to land in New Delhi and we're going to visit the Lotus Temple and the Taj Mahal and end up making our way to Mumbai on a train and Mumbai and everything else. But I have to look over this itinerary, right? Like where we're going, because there's so many places that we're attending that I'm not even really familiar with. But she's very spiritual and so am I. So I am and she's so excited just to be around the culture, like to live it, to be in it. That she's looking up meditation, like temples and all this good stuff, you know, for us to attend. And I never, ever thought, wow, that I would be here today. Like it came so fast.
Yeah.
Right? So fast with making a decision. It was that decision. But knowing that I have a supportive, loving husband too, you know, that is, I know I'm
down.
Yeah. Like you're down. Not only that, but I know that you can hold down the household. Yeah. And that gives me just so much confidence and so much security knowing that
I can babysit our kids.
I can leave for over 2 weeks and you guys are going to be great.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking, I was like, I got to think of some stuff. Maybe we can do some things.
Yes.
I don't know. It'll be fun.
And stepping into this, like my coaching has been going so well, you know, just me being where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And looking back at everything that I've gone through, things that I've done, things that I've created, right? Like stepping into Legal Shield, seeing the person that business helped me to become. And then Trust Inc., right? Because that's all our own skills, business, just everything that led up to today. And including all the spiritual experiences that I've had, you know, the prophecies, right, that have been unfolded to me, all have been leading to exactly where I am today. And when you are stepping into your purpose and you just know with every part of your being that this is it. Like this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Well, if you think about it, like, yes, everything that you've done has led you to this point. And then I kind of think about my life too. It's the same exact thing. But then you also have people in life that I can think of that I've worked with that they've done something for their whole life, and they've never really stepped outside of their comfort zone or tried to do anything different. And what are they doing? The same thing they've always been doing. You know, like I used to be a mechanic. I used to be an inspector. But now I do something else where I have to do conference calls. I have to do all these things. But I couldn't have done all of that without Legal Shield, without all these other experiences that added up to this.
Yes. Yes. What do you think stops people from trying or stepping into? Because a lot of times when you are at a job and you're not healthy, you're not happy, or you're in a relationship and you're not happy, like you're in a tough, dark situation and you're getting these nudges, like that this isn't what you're supposed to be doing. What do you think keeps people from taking that leap?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if everybody, I'm sure some people get the nudges and they feel it, they think about it, and then they let it go. Maybe because for those people, I think it's because maybe they don't feel like it's possible for them. That's not me.
There you go. It's all their false beliefs.
It's, yeah, so-and-so did it, but I'm not like so-and-so. And I mean, I used to be a fucking mechanic, like fucking around with the guys, playing pranks on people and doing all that stuff. And I'll still do it. Like if I see one of my friends or like I'll mess around. But when there's also a thing where sometimes people don't know when it's time to be who you need to be in a certain situation. You can't always be the person that's fucking around. That's great. And it's great for building relationships and having friends and all that stuff. But sometimes when it's time to be serious, it's time to be serious. And some people don't know how to do that. But I think there's also, maybe, I don't know if it's from traumas that they have or whatever, but there's some people that they're just going day by day. And it's just a cycle of getting through the day. And I don't even know if you get a nudge that you would even recognize it.
Because we keep ourselves so busy.
Yeah.
Really. We're so detached.
Yeah, exactly.
We are so detached from our emotions. I'm speaking from self. Okay. I'm speaking for myself right now. When I was in Legal Shield, because I grew up in humble beginnings, right? We had everything we needed, but just humble beginnings. We were broke. I was so scared of going back there that I did everything in my power to not go there. So in Legal Shield, and this is great because it led me to where I am today, but I was chasing the dollar, right? My priorities were off. Yes, ambitious.
That's not a bad thing,
now,
though.
It is when my soul is not feeling well. Do you understand?
Or if you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Yeah. So even when it was time for me to go, right? When God's like, okay, you know now what you're capable of. Now it's time to move on. Do you remember that? How I held on to that, trying to recreate that passion that I had?
Yeah.
I went through some tough shit because I was holding on because I felt that Legal Shield was my identity. Right? I went through a lot of heartache.
That's right, because you were the Legal Shield lady.
Yeah.
And that was you.
That was me. Yeah. That's what everybody knew me as. I was in that business for over 10 years. And I felt the nudge. I felt the pain. I knew it. I felt it in my gut because the passion started to slowly disappear.
Yeah.
So then I held on to it and I tried something. I tried working with your organization. Oh my God, that created disaster in itself. Oh my goodness, yeah. Right? Like there was so much conflict.
Yeah. Right?
And then finally, it took the 2 car accidents back to back, totaled vehicles, right? Do you remember that? Yeah. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like it was a huge wake up call. That was around the time when I said enough is enough. It's time for me to let this go. And what's so crazy is before I made that decision, I had a nudge because a lot of our clients needed a notary.
Yeah.
Right? For the estate planning. So I started looking that up. And that's when Trust Inc. was born, because I came across videos on YouTube on how to build a signing agency.
Yeah.
And the plan was, I was still holding on. The plan was to build both businesses side by side, but I ended up falling in love with my own business.
Right.
And then Legal Shield just kind of was there.
And I
right?
think, yeah. And I think this time, now that the notary business has kind of died down and we're getting the coaching business going, you haven't like held on to it's kind of like, well,
yes,
it is what it is.
Well, let me share.
And now it's time to do what I'm supposed to do.
But it got a little easier because I had to do it before. It was a little easier, but it still took me to make the decision to let it go because I was still holding on a little bit, right? I redid my E&O insurance just in case.
Yeah.
Right? For the entire year. I kept everything in place for the entire year. So it was still kind of there. And then what made me realize that I had fully let it go was that I was invited to an event with our neighbor who's a lender and had me in a room full of real estate agents.
Yeah.
And for the signing agency, that was my clientele. That's who I would prospect and title, and being there, I didn't feel like I had to network for Trust Inc. It was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
You didn't feel like,
no, I'm a coach. I'm a life coach. I'm a coach.
Yeah,
that's what I stood for. And it felt right. And knowing what I know now, it's what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, this is it. Like, this is it. Yeah. The coaching business may grow into a book. Well, I know it is. There's going to be a book. There may be courses, there may be lessons and all this other stuff. But right now it's just one-on-one, right? Like one-on-one.
Yep. And if you guys would like to get a hold of Sonja, you guys can go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. You guys can send us a message there. If you click the contact us button, you can send us a message. You can get you can call, message us for a coaching
a gifting session. I'm still doing gifting sessions, and
or you can get a hold of us however way you can.
Yes,
Any of our social media, emails, whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
But
so that's exciting.
Yeah. And also, while you're on our website, like I said before, you guys can you'll see how you can follow the show, all of our social media. You can listen to us on Spotify, on everything. Share it with your friends because you guys are obviously already listening to this. So if you share it with somebody, if you find a clip that you like, share it with them. Sometimes we make some good clips that, maybe
sometimes
drop some.
Okay, first of all, Miguel, you are amazing at making clips.
Thanks,
you
babe.
do very well at making clips.
Thanks. Thank you.
Sometimes, all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happier with some more than others. I think everybody knows that. But yeah, share them with the people that you know, because we do, try to drop some helpful hints and knowledge on some people, on some experiences that we've had that, that we know about. And also when you go to our website, you can see how you can support the show. You can also listen to the podcast there and watch it there and everything, but you can watch it on YouTube and Facebook. But you can see how you can support the show. If you click on the support the show tab, it'll take you to our Amazon link. Anything that you purchase through that link doesn't cost you anything extra. And I know everybody's shopping on Amazon.
Yes.
Valentine's Day is coming up. If you're picking up anything, click through our link. It'll help us out. And we can get more microphones, lights, and all that stuff.
And I want to give a shout out to Kelly and Ian.
Yeah.
Because they shop through our site for Amazon all the time. She's like, we do not shop before going to your link. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you for your support.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate it. And if you guys would like to give us a call, if you guys have had a gifting session with Sonja and you want to let us know how it went, if you want to kind of leave us a testimonial or something, you guys can call us at 480-331-9846. Or if you guys have something that you guys want us to talk about, if you have a question for us, if you want to tell us about some of your achievements, something that, because this is something, I was just thinking about this before we started the podcast. I think you were talking about a while back, like how you could love somebody that you don't know.
Yes.
And it's kind of similar to that, not exactly, but I was thinking about how I've watched things before and I've seen people having success at something, like how they're kicking ass at something, and I have no idea who they are. But for some reason, like, I'm happy for them.
Yes.
I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, go for it.
Yes.
Like, I'm happy for you, and I don't even know who you are because I can see how passionate they are about it, how bad they want it, how hard they work for it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So if you guys are out there doing stuff, achieving your goals, hit us up. Let us know. 480-331-9846. And on that note, I want to give a shout out to my little brother. To my little brother, Alan. Nug Nug.
Nug Nug.
And because he's working. He's working on himself, and he's focused on his family. And he just started listening to this book, Atomic Habits, which I just signed back up for Audible because we got so many books that we need to listen to. But they had a deal. So next month I'm going to get Atomic Habits so I can listen to it too. But him and his girl they bought 2 books.
Nice.
And they read 10 pages of the book a day.
Nice.
And then they talk about what they read, what they learned.
There you go.
And they're working on changing habits little by little.
Yes.
You know?
That's awesome.
And I'm super proud of them. I love you. And you guys,
congratulations.
And this is something
That's so good.
This is something that I wanted to tell him that I've been thinking about. But wherever your life is at, you can change it within the next 5 to 7 years. Within the next, if you think about us right now, 7 years ago, we were living in the old house. Like, that's crazy because our life looks completely different now than it did back then.
Right.
And I mean, we were on that trajectory, but even if your life's not looking that great or there's a lot of shit going on, you can make the decision to change it. You have to put the work in. It's not going to be easy, but if you're committed and you work on it, you can change everything.
Yes.
Everything.
We are proof of that in our marriage, right? I mean, our marriage wasn't always easy. It was challenging with our finances.
Yeah.
With our parenting.
Finances. That's another thing that I was going to talk about, because if you do want to change everything, one thing that really gets people stuck in a cycle is debt. Because when you have a lot of debt, you have no choice but to just keep fucking working. And you can't really focus on anything else because you got to keep paying these damn bills. You're a slave to that debt.
Right.
So one of the first things that you have to work on is getting out of debt. Because when you get out of debt, that's when you can start taking advantage of more opportunities.
Yes.
You know?
We started with Dave Ramsey. That's where we started.
Yeah.
Was listening to Dave Ramsey. I mean, we were reading books after books. And I can tell you this, that knowledge, it's power. But what's more powerful is putting your knowledge to work.
Yeah.
It's putting it into action, you guys. You can read all the books you want, but until you decide that things are going to change, they will not change.
Yeah.
Right? When you decide, and I think that that's been one of my biggest lessons this past year.
Hey, before we move on, buy me a coffee, yo.
Or water bottle.
Water.
So yeah, if you would like to buy us, we should have just kept going on. If you guys would like to buy us a coffee,
that's another way you can support the
or
show.
a bottle of water, because we're not drinking alcohol for 30 days. Well, I just told them to buy me a coffee. We can have decaf. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod. There is a subscription where you can
support the show on a monthly basis.
Yes.
Buymeacoffee.com/oppositepod.
There you go.
There you go.
So, yes. So you can read all the biggest lesson. My biggest lesson was believing in myself. It was going through the healing process of just getting rid of all the false beliefs. The false beliefs seeds that were planted in me since I was a little girl, whether it was from school, whether it was from kids teasing me, whether it was from, societies, whatever it may be. There's all these seeds that don't do us well that are planted. And a lot of times we buy into it.
Yeah.
But it was releasing all those false beliefs and really stepping into my divine energy. Without a doubt, like I just know that I am so capable, and you have always had that within you, right? You have always known
my strength.
Yes.
My power. Yeah.
Yes.
I just
have always known.
My thought has always been, if them, why not me? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't see anybody as like, wow. I mean, there's certain things that you just can't change. I'm not going to be LeBron James, but I could get pretty fucking good at basketball if I really felt like it. I don't want to, right, but I could if I really wanted to.
And I feel that's what it is. When people talk about passion, like, what is your passion, right? That sounds so cliche. What is your purpose? Like, what is your purpose? It all falls within your interest. Because if you're not interested in playing basketball, if you're not interested, right, in playing volleyball, you're not going to be good at it because you're not interested in it.
You're not going to be good at it, but it doesn't mean you can't be good at it.
No, you can be good at it, but it's going to be a struggle.
Because...
Okay.
Go ahead.
Legal Shield.
What?
How passionate were you about Legal Shield?
Not at all. Not really. I mean, I was passionate about the money, like making some money.
Yeah.
But
the service.
As far as doing...
selling. How passionate were you on selling?
That's not my thing.
How good did you do? Be honest.
No, I didn't do well.
There you go. You did it though. Like, you were very good at, you hated the follow-up. You did what you had to do, but you did not stay committed.
But at the same time, because I wasn't committed, because I didn't have the passion, I know inside myself that I didn't do everything that I could have done to get it done.
There you go.
And if I did, I would have had the same results as the top people in Legal Shield.
Right. But you weren't passionate about it.
But I wasn't passionate about it, and I wasn't willing to do whatever it took.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point.
But it doesn't mean that I couldn't.
Right. So what I'm saying is that if you have been struggling with that, trying to figure out what your purpose is, or, if you're not happy with where you're at, think about what you do that brings joy to you. Even if, like, the gym, like, I enjoy working out. I enjoy lifting. I enjoy strength training. I can tell you that I can probably go get certified as a trainer and I would do very well. Yeah. Because I enjoy working out. I enjoy being at the gym, right?
Yeah.
But if a runner, forget about it.
You're
not doing it. I don't like it. I can do it. I don't want to do it. I don't like it. So ask yourself, what is it that brings joy to you? And figure out a way how to turn that into a business.
Yes. But don't bullshit yourself.
Right.
If it's something that you really want to do, it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows.
It's not going to be easy. You got to put the work in.
Work.
That's right.
And yeah, it's going to take work. It's going to take effort.
But it doesn't drain you. And I'm just, the coaching business. I've been coaching and mentoring for a very long time. But I feel it in every part of my being that this is something that comes so natural to me. I do not see myself losing passion with this. I only see expansion.
Check this out. Now think about creating a spreadsheet to put everybody that your prospects in, and how you're going to track some of the people that you're coaching, and then doing the taxes, and then doing some of the logistical stuff that is not fun when it comes to coaching.
I will hire somebody.
But you don't always have that option. There's a lot of times. There's a lot of times that it doesn't fucking matter. You have to do the shit that you don't like to do to do the fucking things that you want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you can hire someone to do it for you. Or barter.
But you don't have that option all the time. And if you don't have that option, you got to get to work.
You got to do it. Right.
Whether you like it or not.
Yeah, it's like, the social media posting and stuff that we do for the podcast.
Exactly.
We love doing this. This is fun.
Yeah.
Yay. But when it comes to, the editing, it's not too bad. I mean, it takes time, but it's not like I don't like doing it. It just takes time.
Right.
And, I'm new to it. So it's getting better at it.
Yeah.
But it's also our thing too.
Yeah.
Right.
Either way, there's going to be things that maybe you're not as passionate about it, but it's part of it and you have to do it.
Right.
So, yesterday I was hanging out with Joey and we went outside and we were boxing a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And like we were talking about earlier, we were talking about how Joey doesn't want to eat animals and all that kind of stuff. And he's so sweet. And you could see that, like, he's been doing jujitsu for I don't know how long. And I want to show him boxing because he should know a little bit about boxing and how to move around and just to be athletic and know, because he's a boy. Boys get into fights. Shit happens. So while we were boxing, he asked me, he was like, Dad, why do you like to fight?
Aww.
Is it because your dad used to fight?
And
I was like, that's a good question, Joe. And I was like, yeah, maybe. I was like, maybe it is because my dad used to fight. I was like, but I also know that it's a good thing to know how to fight.
Right.
Yeah. And I was asking, I was like, do you like fighting? Do you like jujitsu? And he's like, no, not really.
Aww.
Like he doesn't like fighting. He doesn't like the thought of hitting somebody or hurting somebody or anything like that. And I was just like, there's a saying. It's better to be a warrior in a garden than to be a gardener in a war. I was like, and if...
Did he understand that?
Well, kind of, but we kind of talked about it and I explained it to him and I was just telling him like, hey, it's better that you know these things and hopefully you never have to use it. And it's weird because the more you learn how to fight, the less likely you are to get into a fight.
Right. Because
you know that you know how to fight and you don't need to fight.
Right.
It's weird how that works, but we kind of had that conversation. And then last night when we were going to sleep, it was like we talked about on one of the previous podcasts, I went up to his bed to tuck him in and it was cuddle time. So I was laying with him in his bed and hugging him. And I was telling him, I was like, Joe, do you think I'm hard on you sometimes? He's like, yeah. I was like, do you know why I'm hard on you sometimes? He's like, why? Or I don't know if he said it was because I want him to learn how to fight or whatever. And I'm like, it's not just about learning how to fight. I was like, do you know what my job is? I was like, my job is to prepare you for the world. I was like, and the world can be a hard place. I was like, and all I want is for you to be ready for whatever. I want you to be successful. I want you to be happy. And I want you to be ready to take on whatever the world throws at you. That's why I'm hard on you. I was like, that's why we get you the math tutor. That's why, we talk about working out and being healthy and doing jujitsu and learning how to fight and reading and math and all these things, because we know that these are the things that you're going to need to be successful in life. Life is so much harder when you don't have a good foundation. That's what we're getting you ready for. I was like, that's the only reason I'm hard on you. I'm hard on you because I love you.
Aw, you're going to make me cry. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Aw. See, that's so good, though. Like, it's so good. It's so, and I'm sure that.
And the thing is that he knows that I love him. Because before we even started, like, I'm hugging him, right? And I was like, I love you, right? He's like, yeah. And then we get into that whole conversation, but I just want him to know where it's coming from. Like if I'm hard on him, it's only because I want him to be happy, to be successful, to be able to take care of himself.
And that's so good. And I feel that is something that they need to be reminded about often, right? Yeah. Even, with Adriana as well, it's just reminding them why we, are hard on them sometimes.
Yeah.
I love the fact that our kids are open with us.
Yeah.
You know, they talk to us about things and we can have conversations. Just the other, like yesterday at the kitchen table when he was talking to me about you. And I said, Joey, I'm like, mommy and daddies have different roles we play.
Yeah.
And explaining to him like the different roles and the importance of, and that reminds me of your conversation, the last episode when you're saying that we need more dads.
Yeah.
We need more dads, right? Because they need both roles.
They do.
They need the mom. They need the dad. And I understand that sometimes things are really, really dark to where you have to step away from the marriage or from the relationship. But it seems like more often than not, it's so easy to walk away because these days it's so easy to file for a divorce. It's so easy.
Not that it's so easy. It's so common.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean,
everybody's
though.
doing it.
You know, it's like, well, okay, well, I don't, you know, I'm not in love with you anymore, or vice versa, or this and that, instead of really working on it, like really looking in.
Yeah,
you know,
it depends on the situation, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, but I just, and that's, you know, just make this a coaching podcast, but with the coaching, it's like, I know by helping the women to step into the masculine and feminine divine energy, that it's going to pour into the children, that it's going to pour into their marriage, that it's going to pour to in everyone around them.
Yeah.
You know, in hopes of saving a marriage, in hopes of saving a relationship or a relationship between a kid and, you know, it's just, it's so important to the things that really matter in life. You can't buy.
Yeah.
You know? And it's given for free.
Yeah.
Love and hugs and kisses.
Yeah. You were just talking about the roles, and this morning I was taking Audrey to school. And here recently, you know, I think we've talked about like Audrey's got her first boyfriend, and there's been some things that were going on, and I was talking to her today, and it made me think about the roles, because I was talking to her about something that she's going through, and I know that sometimes I think this is just part of the role. I asked her, like, hey, have you talked to your mom about what's going on? And she said, yeah. I was like, okay, so you guys have talked about everything? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, good. And I just leave it at that, because I know that's your role, to talk to her about these sorts of things. And now that I know, I don't have to dig any deeper. I don't have to try to get the details of what's going on. But then I could just talk to her about the other parts of it, you know, about being in a relationship, about being in a brand new relationship and not knowing what you're doing, because this is your first relationship and you're only 13 and you don't have any experience, and you have to learn how to be in a relationship. It's experience. And how to communicate. Like, if you start communicating now, you may not be with this person forever. You're not going to get married and all this stuff. You're just a kid. But you can work on, and you guys can work on it together, on communicating about the small things. Instead of just freaking out and, you know, like, no, you just, it may be uncomfortable, but you can little by little work your way up.
Yes.
You know, and that's the conversation that we were having on the way to school, you know?
That was so good for you to, like, you're, you know, just to recognize that and to at least, you know, let her know that you're aware, you know, of the situation, and then just waiting, you know, to see if she would open the door or not.
Yeah. And if she doesn't, like, all I care about is that we're in the loop. And if she's talked to you about it and you can help her through it, I'll help her through other stuff.
Right.
And that's the roles that we have.
Right.
And it's different. Like I said, yeah.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Pretty cool.
Good job, babe. Good job.
Thanks, babe.
See, and that is the feminine divine energy in Miguel that you hear right now.
Okay.
Why do you take it that way? It's so good. It feels it's so good to be balanced.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, it's good.
Yes. You're leading the men by example.
Thanks, babe.
Love it. Love you.
Man, and this week, well, now that you're planning on going to India, this last week, it's like we're getting on a roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything is happening. I don't know if you guys can hear for the last hour that I probably sound a little bit stuffy. Sonja sounds a little stuffy. And we were talking about how it seems like whenever you get on a freaking roll, something happens that tries to freaking derail you or throw you off. And usually it's like getting sick, catching a cold or something like that, you know? And it's like, I've been training jujitsu, and really last week I started telling people I made the decision that I'm fucking fighting in this tournament in August, the big one. Yes. I started telling people, like, because I know it's like, I've been kind of pussyfooting around this whole thing.
Pussyfooting?
Like, yeah, I've been thinking about, maybe I'm gonna, but, and everybody's done it because you don't want to fucking commit to it.
Right. Because then people are going to hold you accountable.
But the thing is that I know what I'm doing. I know inside, like you're bullshitting yourself.
Yes.
So at a certain point, I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to start telling people.
Yes.
Guess what? I'm doing that tournament in August.
Yes.
And guess what happens? That very same week, I catch a fucking cold and I can't go back to the gym. And I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. This happens all the damn time. Like I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start getting in shape. And it's like, all right, I got 2 weeks in. Damn, I'm starting to look, I think I see a difference. And then fucking, I can't breathe. It's like, fuck, man. It's like every single time. Freaking drives me crazy.
I know.
So, but it's almost over and it's back to get on the grind.
Yes.
So, you got anything else?
No, let's close it out.
And with that, thank you guys for listening. Make sure you guys go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. Like we said before, if you guys leave us a like, subscribe, review, comment, leave a review on iTunes, 5 stars on Facebook. I think we have the biggest following on Facebook, and I think we have 2 reviews on Facebook.
Are you
serious? We got 2 5-star reviews on Facebook.
Come on, guys. Come on. But, if you like what you hear, if we make you laugh or piss you off, either way, give us a star.
Yeah. 5 star. 5 of them. But like,
get your cousin, get your nana, get everybody involved.
Yeah, there you go. But you guys can follow us at oppositesattractpodcast.com.
Yes.
And
thank you guys for your love. Thank you for your support. And thank you for watching Opposites Attract Podcast.
Where we get better
together. Bye.